Hello, hi, how are you all? This is me, Dr. Ravina, and I'm going to teach you biology. I'm going to teach you this particular part, which is biology of your class 9 subject science. Okay, so let's start with today's class. Before that, a very brief introduction about me, as this is our first class. Okay, so yeah, I'm Dr. Ravina, and I have an experience of teaching of more than 6+ years in both online and offline domain. Eventually, with every class, you will come to know about me, and hopefully I'll come to know about you guys. Okay, so with that, let's start our today's class. Let's start our first class, and we will be starting this class with the classic question, and that question is, how can we differentiate between living and non-living? Think about it. Okay, see, we will discuss like which chapter we are what is the chapter we are going to do and all, but first of all, let's just start with the basic question, and that is, how can we differentiate between living and non-living? Think about it. Look around and look at the things, okay, near you, and think if they are living or non-living. Can you categorize things present in your surrounding in the category if they are living or non-living? Yes. Okay, I'll give you some examples. So for example, here, yes, look at this. What is this? Yeah, isn't it like really beautiful cow? Okay, so what do you think? Cow is living or non-living according to you? What do you guys think? Hopefully you guys are saying that it is living. Yes? Can't agree more. Very good. Now I have one more image, although I have plenty of images. Yeah, look at this now. What do you think? The dog, in this image, this dog is living or non-living? I mean, in this image, in the sense like if dogs are living or non-living. Okay, what do you think? If you guys think that cows are living, then it is but obvious that you will be thinking that dogs are also living. Yes, and I am agreeing with you guys. Now, how you came to this conclusion that cows are living or dogs? If you'll go out and you'll see dogs or cows, so you will know that they are living. But how you came to this conclusion that these animals are living? What do you think? Why you are calling them that they are living? So I can think of I will answer this question on your behalf. So I am assuming that, just a minute, okay, give me a minute. Yes, okay. So now this is full screen, so I hope it's much better for you guys. Okay, so yeah, as you were saying, why you guys think that these animals are living? Because very obvious thing which can come to your mind is because they move, right? Because they can move. Other things, you can think of other factors as well, because you know that they breathe. So breathing is one of the another parameter. They respond. So whatever, if you will, if you'll give them something, or if you'll just try to send them away, they will give you a response. Okay, so there are so many other factors to this. There are so many other factors on which we can classify, we can say that these organisms are living. Makes sense? So there are basically some other parameters as well, and about these parameters, if they are applicable to all the organisms or not, this is something you are going to study in your higher class, that is in your 11th standard. There is one chapter in class 11th named the living world. Okay, the living world. So in that chapter you are going to read, you are going to study that what factors make any organism living. Yeah, so as of now, as of our class, this much of understanding is enough. Now let's move ahead. So basically, because you know that they can move, they can breathe, they can respond. So So all these factors make them, because of all these factors we classify them as they are living organism. So if that is the scenario, then what do you guys think about this? What are these? They're plants. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Because plants cannot move, right? They cannot move on their own. Yeah. You will not see any plant and you will be like, okay, so this plant is breathing. Why I am saying this? Because whenever you look at the animals, you can see that their rib cage is moving, the chest is moving. So that's how you know that respiration, breathing process basically, that is going on. But whenever we talk about plants, there are not any specific, these signs of breathing. Yeah, have you guys ever seen any plant like that their chest is moving? Do plants have chest and all, first of all? Yeah. So what do you guys think? Plants are living or non-living? If any one of you is saying non-living, then my dear friend, you have to wait a little bit to understand this concept. And if any one of you is saying living, then congratulations, you are 100% correct. So plants are also living. They cannot move, they cannot as such breathe directly, I would say, but still they are living. Okay. And next question is this: what do you think about this table chair, this beautiful table chair? What do you guys think? Is this living or non-living? Yes. So now if any one of you is thinking, because even plants cannot move and they are living, and the table chairs, they cannot also move, but so it means they should also be living. So I'm sorry, but you are wrong here. Okay, so table chair, they are non-living. Now isn't it does it feel like that these are some, I'm saying some random things like, even plants cannot move, but I am saying that they are living. But when it comes to table chair, and even they cannot move, but I am saying that they are non-living. So how I am deciding this, that which factor will make anything living or which factor will make anything non-living? Yes. So what do you guys think? What is the difference here? And just think about it. I'll give you one more question. Okay, the classic dilemma. Okay, first of all, look at this image. What do you guys think of this image? Like, first of all, tell me, what is this image? What is this? Is it some kind of flower or what? Some butterfly? What do you think? To me, it seems that it is a kind of butterfly. Yes, what do you think, guys? Okay, so if any one of you thinking, and I hope at least some of you might be thinking that this can be a virus. So yes, you are correct. This is a virus. Now again, the classic question: what about viruses? Are they living or non-living? What do we think about viruses? Are they living or non-living? Yes, think. So if any one of you is thinking that viruses are living, okay, then my dear friend, you are half correct, I would say. Okay, you are not completely wrong, but at the same time you are not completely right. What does it mean? Give me a minute, I'll explain. But before that, if any one of you thinking that viruses are non-living, then again congratulations, even you are not correct nor wrong. So what does it mean? If I am saying that viruses are not living, they are also not non-living, so what are they actually? So I'll give you one statement here. Okay, please remember this statement. This statement is as such not given in your NCERT, it is not given in your textbook, but this is something which will make your understanding clear. Okay, this is something which will make your understanding clear that what kind of organisms are called as living and what are called as non-living. First thing. Okay, and second, again, about viruses, you are going to study about viruses in each and every class. Okay, you're going to study about them in 10th, 11th, 12th, everywhere. So viruses, basically, they are the connecting link between, you can write between like this as well. Okay, not in your exams, but yeah, just whenever you are making notes. So this is just short, you can use. Okay, yeah. So viruses are basically connecting link between living and non-living. Now what does it mean? What do you think? What is the meaning of connecting link? What is the meaning of connecting link? See, okay, I'll tell you one thing why we are calling that viruses are connecting link between living and non-living, and why I told you that they are living at the same time they are non-living as well. What does it mean? I'll tell you that viruses, they are not entire cell. Okay, what is a cell? If you guys have any idea of cell, okay, so you will know that cell is the fundamental unit, it is the basic unit of the life. So viruses are not made up of cell. Viruses, they are made up of protein and genetic material. Normally the genetic material would be RNA. About this you don't have to worry about the specificity of this right now. Just focus on the fact that viruses are not entire cell, they are something lesser than a cell. Okay, what I am saying, that viruses are not a cell, they are lesser than a cell. That's why they are called as connecting link. Okay, so because I understand it like this, if there is a virus, let me do it like this. Okay, so let's say there is this virus here. Yeah, you can see this virus I'm drawing actually here. So if this is the virus here, if this virus is present on the table, this virus is not active. Why this virus is not active? Because this virus is lesser than a cell. Okay, it is not even one cell, it is lesser than that. So it do not have all the machineries, or I would say all the organelles which are required for the survival. See, don't get confused with all these big words, these are nothing. Okay, just be with me and you will be able to understand everything. Okay, so right now what I'm saying, that if there is a virus, it is on the table, that is outside the body, it is not active. But as soon as this virus will go inside any living organism's body, let's talk about human body. Okay, so as soon as this virus will go inside the human body, this virus will use, I would right now, let's keep it very simple. So I will say it like this, that this virus will use all the machines or all the machinery present inside human body. We have so many things inside our body, right? We have trillions of cells, and these trillions of cells have so many different type of things which will be performing different functions. Does it make any sense what I'm saying? So now when the virus is inside any living organism's body, now this virus will act as a living entity. So it will act as a living entity. That's why viruses, because they can be non-active, they can be non-living, and they can be living. That's why they are called as connecting link. I hope it's clear to you guys. So now, does it make sense? What I want you guys to understand here is that viruses are lesser than a cell. So can I say that anything which is less than a cell cannot survive on its own? Does it make sense? Yes. Give me few more minutes and it will be more clear to you. Okay. So now this is the diagram of one animal cell which is given in our NCERT. Okay. This is your animal cell. Now question is, like you must have to have so many questions in your mind right now, right? So like you might be thinking, is it true? Like, because you might have never seen something like this on your body. Have you guys, any one of you have seen something like this in your body? Yes. So is it even true that we have cells like this? Then yes, I would say this is absolutely correct. Cells, they are microscopic structure. Maximum the cells are microscopic structure. What does it mean? What does it mean that cells are microscopic structure? It simply means you cannot see the cells with your naked eyes. You will need the help of microscope. That's why they are called as cells are microscopic structure. Okay, so now your entire body is made up of this kind of cells, and you have trillions of cells, like so many cells. Okay, so this tiny structures, they will combine together, and then they will form different structure in your body, and then ultimately you will be formed. Entire you are going to be formed. Is it clear? Okay, what is the concept of cell? So now I hope it makes sense that what is a cell. So cell is nothing but it is what? It is a fundamental, it is the basic unit. Okay, we'll come to that concept as well. But right now I want you guys to take 10 seconds and look at the diagram. You don't have to worry about all the words written here. Just read it once, like like this: plasma membrane and centriole and lysosome, ribosomes, mitochondrion, rough endoplasmic reticulum, cytoplasm, nucleus, nuclear envelope, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and Golgi apparatus. So I want you to have this idea that whenever we are going to study about animal cell, we are going to discuss all these things one by one. And see, all these things, they are called as organelles. They are called as organelles. They, all of them, like lysosomes, ribosomes, mitochondria, rough endoplasmic reticulum, central, all of this, they are collectively called as what? Organelles. Organelles are basically organs of the cell. Okay, we'll discuss this one by one. So now you have to understand that in our cell we have this different type of, I would use the word compartment here, or I would say in our cell we have different, you can understand it like this. So let's talk about your school. Okay, in your school, so school is your entire premises. Okay, but inside your school you must be having one principal office, you must be having your classroom, you must be having your ground, your play area. At the same time you must be having some place where you will be doing your prayer and all. Okay, in our school it was called as MP hall, multi-purpose hall. So just like that, you might be having all these different places in your school where you will be doing all these different functions. Just like that, in our cell we have this different type of organelles, and these different organelles will be performing some specific kind of functions. What are these functions? That is something we will be discussing. Okay, now very interesting thing to notice here, because see, it is written here as animal cell. So what do you think now? Do plants have some different kind of cells? Are there some differences between plant cell and animal cell? Yeah, so these are some questions which we are going to answer in this chapter. Throughout the chapter we are going to answer about the function of the organelles, what are the functions of the organelles, how animal cells and plant cells are different. Okay, and then there is some specific data is also given, like who for the first time discovered your this nucleus and all. So all these things we are going to discuss. Now again, let's come to the next question that we have is the chapter. What is the name of your chapter? That is the fundamental unit of life. Now you can ask me why it is called as the fundamental unit. What is the meaning of the word fundamental here? Yeah, I have actually written this question on one different page. Yeah, so why cell is called as fundamental unit? What do we understand by the term fundamental? Fundamental is basic. Okay, so for example, we have some fundamental rights. Fundamental right simply means that basic right, like it has to be there for us, so they are called as fundamental rights, right? So just like that, fundamental simply means basic unit. So if you are saying that any organism is living, it simply means that they have to have cell. Okay, now the question remains the same. Why cell is called as fundamental? Because a cell can perform so many different type of function. What does it mean? Your cell can have so many function, like respiration. You understand what is the meaning of the word respiration? Then you must have studied about reproduction in your class 8th. Yeah, movement. There are so many things. And see, understand all these things, whatever I am writing here. There are so many other examples. Okay, like respiration, reproduction, movement, excretion. All these are the things which are required for survival. Okay, so and all these functions, they are done by cells. So because your cells, they can perform all these functions, because your cells can perform all these functions, that's why they are called as fundamental unit. Make sense? Okay, so cells are, that's why they are called as fundamental unit. Now I'll ask you one question. Okay, and before asking one question, I want you to write down one statement, and that is, cell is the functional and structural unit of the organism. Yes, so cell is the functional and structural unit. Now again, let's go to the word. What are the two words which we have to highlight here is functional and structural. Functional unit simply means that this cell is something which is going to perform some specific functions. Okay, and what is the meaning of structural? That these different types of cells, they are going to combine and then they are going to form a specific structure. Make sense? Okay, so whatever organism we are talking about, ultimately if they are living organisms, they are made up of cells. So that's why cells are called as functional and structural unit of the organism at the same time, because they perform all these functions which are required for survival. Sorry, slip of tongue. Required for survival of the organism. Yeah, makes sense, because if you cannot breathe, ultimately respiration, if you cannot reproduce, if you cannot move, if you cannot excrete, so all these things are, if they are not there, then it will be not possible for the organism to survive. So and all these things are done by cells. Okay, so they are required for survival of the organism, and all this is done by cell. That's why cell is called as the fundamental unit, the basic unit. Okay, and this basic unit, it will do all the functions and it will form all the structure. That's why it is the functional and structural unit of the organism. Okay, now there are so many different kind of questions you might be having, okay, which we will be discussing. If you have any specific questions, you can of course write it down in the comment section. But before concluding today's session, let me give you a very basic idea again of the cell. So till now we have discussed like what are the things which can make any organism living or anything non-living. Yeah, so that is something we have discussed. Why cell is called as fundamental unit, that is what we have discussed. What are the functions, why it is called as structure and functional unit, that is what we have discussed. Now why we are very much interested into the cell? It is very obvious to ask you can ask yourself that why we are interested into cell. So first reason I already gave you, because this is the fundamental unit. So whatever is happening in your body, it all is actually occurring at some cellular level. First thing. Second thing, see, today because we know about the cell, that's why for us it's very easy, we can very easily discuss about cells and all. But are you aware of the fact that because earlier the microscopes were not there, okay, so before the discovery of microscope, no one was even aware that there is something called a cell. Does it make any sense? So for example, earlier all the humans, no one of them were aware that if there is any small particle is there, okay. So then there came this scientist, and his name was what? Robert Hooke. So Robert Hooke, for the first time, he saw that there are some honeycomb like structures present in the cork. Okay, so what is cork? Cork is nothing but it's actually just a bark, I would say bark of the tree. So when he saw Robert Hooke, when he saw this cork under the microscope, he saw this honeycomb like structures, and then he told about the fact that there are something, okay, there is something which is present at microscopic level. Yeah, although the cell Robert Hooke was talking about, it was non-living cell. After that we had Leeuwenhoek, which gave us living cell. So what was the contribution of different scientists in the discovery, and what are the functions of all the different organelles, okay, how cells actually work, what different kind of cells we have, okay. For example, see, you can check here. So you have this nerve cell, fat cell, bone cell, sperm, ovum, smooth muscle cell, blood cells. So you can see that all these cells are very different, and all these cells are present in your body. So that's about animal cells. Other than this, we have plant cells as well, and that's what we are going to discuss in next class. So if you guys have any doubt till now, you can ask me. Otherwise, with this basic understanding, we are going to conclude today's session. I hope you liked it, and if you have any issues, please let me know. All the best.